back to Scientific Phenomenon. You know, kids are smart these days. In 2012, 10-year-old Clara Lazan created a new kind of molecule called the tetranitrate oxycarbon in her elementary school science class. But long before Clara, child prodigies existed, teaching us all there is never enough information to feed that monster we call curiosity. In 1994, a kid named David Charles Hahn became forever known as the Radioactive Boy Scout, an event that forever changed the landscape of his young life. But how did all this come to be? Hahn was a Boy Scout, fascinated with chemistry. He spent years conducting amateur chemistry experiments, which sometimes caused small explosions and other mishaps. David was inspired, in part, by reading the Golden Book of Chemistry Experiments. He tried to collect samples of every element in the periodic table, including the radioactive ones. He later received a merit badge in atomic energy and became fascinated with the idea of creating a breeder reactor in his home. Over time, Hahn diligently amassed radioactive material by collecting small amounts from household products, such as americium from smoke detectors, thorium from camping lanterns, radium from clocks, and tritium, a neutron moderator, from gun sights. His reactor was a bored-out block of lead. He used lithium from $1,000 worth of purchased batteries to purify the thorium ash using a Bunsen burner. He even went as far as to pose as an adult scientist or high school teacher to gain the trust of many professionals in letters and communications, and somehow he succeeded, despite misspellings and other obvious errors. Hahn ultimately hoped to create a breeder reactor using low-level isotopes to transform samples of thorium and uranium into fissionable isotopes. While Hahn's reactor never hit critical mass, it did end up emitting dangerous levels of radiation, well over 1,000 times the normal background radiation. Alarmed, Hahn began to dismantle his experiments, but in a chance encounter, police discovered his activities, which triggered a federal radiological emergency response involving the FBI and the Nuclear Regulatory Commission. On June 26, 1995, the United States Environmental Protection Agency declared Hahn's family home a hazardous material cleanup site. The EPA began dismantling David's home and its contents to be disposed of as radioactive waste. Hahn's family refused medical evaluation for radiation exposure. Hahn became depressed after the scandal broke, a problem exacerbated by the breakup with his then-girlfriend and the death of his mother in early 1996. While the incident wasn't widely publicized initially, the story gained nationwide attention following a 1998 Harper's article by Ken Silverstein. David later became the subject of Silverstein's 2004 book, The Radioactive Boy Scout. By 2005, Hahn, now a grown man, had served in the U.S. Navy and the U.S. Marine Corps. He was subsequently treated for mental illness and relieved of active duty in July of 2005. On August 1, 2007, Hahn was charged with first-degree larceny in Clinton Township, Michigan, for allegedly removing a number of smoke detectors from the halls of his apartment building. His intention was to obtain americium from them. In his mugshot, we can see how the radioactive materials he was working with have affected him over time. By 2016, David Charles Hahn had led a remarkable life, but David's story ends here at age 39. If you dig around hard enough, you can find answers as to what happened to David, but sometimes not knowing the answer is the better solution. I want to thank you guys for tuning in to Scientific Phenomenon. If there's a topic you'd like to see or something we forgot to cover, please let us know in those comments below. As always, we appreciate each and every one of you. Until next time, this is Scientific Phenomenon saying